Okay, I think I'm having a revelation about CJ Stroud, and it's kind of concerning me. I had to pull over and kind of get this out. Um, I'm thinking that I'm getting concerned about the fact that it seems like CJ Stroud isn't really excited about the opportunity that he has right now to be not only the starting quarterback, but to have the control of the offense and have it at his disposal. And the reason why I say that is because I think about the great quarterbacks that have been in the league. I think about, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and of course the upper echelon. I mean, even if you go back to Drew Brees, you had quarterbacks that had a system that it was either built around them or a system where within what they had in the game plan, within what they had in the offense, they knew that they had a set of immediate go-tos or standard plays that they knew every single time they had it down pat that could convert like clockworks. And I'm getting kind of concerned in CJ's third year. Here we have we're approaching week 8, and I don't really see CJ have the fervor or the vigor and the confidence about, what, within this package of what we have on the field right now, I know I have this play. Within this package of what we got on the field, I know we have this play. If you look at, and I hate to say this, but if you look at Pat Mahomes, his offense is a little bit more dynamic because they do a plethora of creative things. I can't imagine that Andy, dang, I'm blanking on his name. I can't imagine that his coach is the only coach that's out there over the last 20, 30 years that's still constantly coming up with creative plays that they can execute and pull out at any given moment and execute well. I mean, on top of that, you have guys that, I mean, just look at the way that they present themselves, whether that's in the press conference, in commercials or whatever. They have a certain type of excitement about what they're doing, right? And what I see in CJ Stroud in post-game press conferences, of course, after a loss, is a down period, so you're going to feel, a certain type of way. But he looks more distraught and dejected. He looks more like he's uncomfortable or whatever. I guess what I'm looking for, if you know CJ enough, you know that he's excited about God, he's excited about the Lord, and to bear witness and to share his experiences when he has a microphone in front of him and he has the opportunity to give a testimony or testify about what he's been through, or even laud the glory of God in a particular type of way. Like, look at the energy that's on him when he does that, right? He should have that same type of feel, or that he should be given that same type of feel about his work, his game plan, his teammates, what product they're putting on the field. Like, he has to have a certain amount of pride about what they're doing out there on the field. So when I hear him talking about, our offense is death by 1,000 cuts, he almost sounds dejected. When I hear him talking about, you call it, we ball it, it almost sounds like he's just doing, towing the company line, doing what the, whatever they call, hey, I'm going to execute it to the best of my abilities. And that's just not the mindset that we need for a franchise quarterback. I mean, he's facing the opportunity to make, millions upon millions of more dollars, which is great. He's going to get that, but, he's got a franchise in his hands. And then on top of that, and for some people, I might lose you on this part of the conversation, but I'm of a certain age. I'm a man of a certain age. And as a black man watching this black quarterback, he's got to understand that he's sitting in a zone where the only other black quarterback to actually have the reins for this team, it didn't go well, right? So there's a lot more pressure on him to try to execute in a certain type of way. And I feel like maybe he needs a council of uncles or something like that. Maybe the unks got to team up and kind of give him just some sage advice about, how he carries himself out there. And, I think that he's a great quarterback. I think that he's a quality leader overall. But there's definitely some pieces that he can improve on just for the sake of, leadership. I mean, it's not just about, being accountable and saying, hey, that's on me. It's also about, when those guys look at you in the huddle, right? Are they looking at a man that they know is going to take them to the mountaintop? I think when I see, again, I have to look at the guys that did it at the highest level, because that's where we at, right? This is the NFL. I got to look at the Pat Mahomes. I got to look at the the Peyton Mannings, and I got to look at the, you know, again, I throw Drew Brees in there, but I got to look at the guys like, you know, Tom Brady. Of course, he's the GOAT. But these guys, when they looked at their team, when they looked at their teammates, their guys look back at them like, hey, man, I know this dude is going to lead me there. Like, regardless to anybody else or any other team, any other option, this is the dude that's going to get me there. If we have a fourth and 3 or 4th and 1 even on any given spot, I know that we're going to execute and we're going to get this play. It's the same confidence that Philadelphia Eagles have about doing the tush push, right? They feel like they have a 92 percentage rate that it's going to be successful. So they have no fear about any 4th and 1 situation. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. It's going to be, we're going to stack up. Y'all got to stop us. This is what it is. And when you have that kind of bully mindset that you can come into any situation, no matter what the defense is bringing to the table, I mean, of course, part of the game plan is going to naturally be, you know, you have to be aware of what they're giving you and you have to work within that. But at some point in time, you got to have enough gumption about what you have on the field that you can go ahead and just take it to them and say, hey, this 1 yard, we're going to get that 1 yard. We ain't even worried about that. You know what I'm saying? If it's 4th quarter and, you know, the game is on the line and, you know, we got 2 minutes left, you gave us too much time. We're going to execute this. We're going to get this. We're going to get, you know, we know what we've put. We know the work that we put in, the film study we put in, and we know that we're going to get this executed and make it work. And my last point, I sometimes wonder, like, as a fan, you know, especially a Houston fan, we are tormented by the fact that we have all of these great highs and lows. You know, it feels so good when we win, but sometimes it feels like we finally won, right? Like we finally have achieved the level of normalcy that a lot of these other franchises get. But then we get these powerful reminders of where we really are, where we have these, you know, we can take a loss. I mean, I think a loss is natural, but it's always these freaking fantastic type of losses. Like, we can't lose normal. You know what I mean? Like, we can't just lose normal. We can't have a first half that doesn't have almost 2 safeties. Like, you know how rare safety is? Like, that doesn't happen on a normal basis. You know what I'm saying? So we should be at a point within our franchise at this point, 20 some odd years in, that we shouldn't have all of these. It's never been done before. You know, the Houston Texans have this first time situation, and, you know, and it stacks up in a loss. I know I'm not tripping with this, man. I know I'm a huge fan of the Texans, but I know at a certain level you should have some sort of customary guide of where you're gonna be as this franchise. We all came into the season feeling like, you know, this was gonna be a double-digit win season, and then immediately we stumbled out the gate. Maybe the first couple of weeks we like, okay, well, they're getting acclimated to the game plan and the new this and the new that. Cool. But at some point in time, it's just like, okay, well, what the hell is this? Like, this is not what we spent the whole offseason on. This is why you have so many fans that be like, fire Nick Caserio, or, you know, fire Kaylee, and, you know, throw the whole season away after week 7. You know what I'm saying? This is why you have fans that get so frustrated with this, because it doesn't look like what everybody else is seeing on the. It doesn't look like a lot of these other teams. I know comparison is the thief of joy, but it doesn't look like what a lot of these other teams are putting out there on the field. You know what I'm saying? And after 3 years of time, we should be looking better than where we are right now, for sure. At a minimum, you know what I'm saying? At a minimum, we shouldn't have to deal with, you know, having the best defense in the league at keeping people out of the end zone and preventing scoring, but then have the worst offense in the league and we can't score a damn thing consistently. Like, those two things, those two dynamics should never go together. And in fact, it's so unusual. We're the only franchise in NFL history to get this far to have that dynamic. Like, Houston sports teams, man, I don't know what it is about us having this constant where it's always, you know, this is the first time this has ever happened, or whatever. I don't know, man. I'm just frustrated, man. I just feel like I got to get that out. I wasn't even planning on shooting a video today, man, but I wanted to talk about the game, the Seattle game, all week. And I've been stewing on this all week, man. I've been so frustrated with this whole process that I just couldn't let it go, man. So I had to get this out, man, and drop it today, man. But I know there's some other fans out here that feel the same way, man. Hit me up in the comment section, man. Let's chop it up about it, all right? I'll holler at you later. Texas Fan of Rehab, I'm out.